Imagine this. You live in a town with no police, no real courts, no jail. Just dirt streets, tents, saloons, and gold dust worth a fortune. You look to one man for protection, the sheriff. He's charming, polite, seems fair, and carries the weight of authority on his shoulders. But every night, people vanish. Travelers never make it to the next town. Miners disappear with their gold. Roads are littered with bodies. Now imagine the truth comes out. The very man wearing the badge was leading the killers all along. That's not the plot of a Western movie. That's the true story of Henry Plummer, a sheriff in Montana during the 1850s and 60s, who secretly commanded one of the bloodiest outlaw gangs on the American frontier. In this video, we're pulling apart the legend of the lawman who moonlighted as a murderer. And if you enjoy dark corners of American history, hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and stick with me to the end, because this story only gets darker the deeper you go. The frontier's promise and danger. The year is 1858. America is splitting at the seams. Gold fever has taken hold again, and Montana is one of the hottest frontiers. Towns appear overnight, wooden shacks, gambling halls, saloons, and tents crammed together in valleys carved by rivers. Men flood in from all over, chasing fortune. But the gold rush brings chaos. There's no real government, no established law. If you strike it rich, you might live, or you might lose everything the moment you step outside town. Gold dust is currency. Pouches of it change hands every night in smoky saloons. Everyone knows someone who got killed for carrying too much of it. That was the world Bannack, Montana was born into. And into this world rode Henry Plummer. The settlers wanted law and order. They wanted a man they could trust, someone who could bring calm to a violent frontier. And when Henry Plummer appeared, he looked like the answer to their prayers. Who was Henry Plummer? Henry Plummer didn't start out as a villain. Born in Maine in 1832, he grew up in a hard-working family. He was intelligent, ambitious, and restless. Like many young men of his time, the California gold rush called his name. He moved west, and in California, he wasn't just another drifter. He stood out. He was polite, educated, and surprisingly refined for a mining camp. People respected him. In 1856, at just 24 years old, he was elected sheriff of Nevada City, California. That's right, he wasn't just some outlaw who later pretended to be law. He really was law. But shadows followed him. While sheriff, he shot and killed a man during a confrontation. He claimed it was self-defense, but the case stained his reputation. Soon after, he killed again, this time the abusive husband of a woman he'd been protecting. He was convicted of second-degree murder. Sentenced to 10 years in San Quentin prison. Yet even here, Plummer's charisma worked. He won friends, even earned sympathy. After only 6 years, the governor pardoned him. He walked out of prison a free man, with his charm intact, but his path already twisted. By the late 1850s, he drifted north to Montana Territory. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Bannack was new, gold was flowing, and the people desperately wanted stability. When Plummer arrived, dressed sharp and speaking well, they saw the perfect candidate for sheriff. He had a past, yes, but he brushed it aside. And the townsfolk, blinded by hope, handed him the badge. The dark secret. Henry Plummer wore the badge with confidence. He patrolled the streets, broke up fights, talked kindly to miners, kept a friendly smile. To most, he was the picture of authority. But underneath, he was building something far darker. Plummer organized a gang of outlaws known as the Innocents. Don't be fooled by the name. They were anything but innocent. These men were killers, horse thieves, stagecoach robbers, and road agents who terrorized the gold roads of Montana. Their strategy was simple and deadly. Whenever a miner struck it rich, Plummer knew. He was the sheriff, he knew who had gold, who was leaving town, and when. At night, the innocents waited on trails, ambushed the travelers, murdered them, and took everything. Bodies were found in ditches. Wagons abandoned on lonely roads. Some men simply disappeared without a trace. How many people did they kill? Historians argue. Some say 20. Some say over 100. The truth is, we'll never know. But in a community so small, even a handful of murders shook the people to their core. And as the number of killings grew, suspicion grew with it. People started to whisper. Why were the bandits never caught? Why was the sheriff always one step behind? Could it be, because he was leading them? Part 4, A Community Under Terror. Imagine living in Bannack then. Every trip out of town felt like a death sentence. Families huddled together at night, listening for gunshots in the hills. Every stranger was a potential killer. And still, the sheriff smiled. He told people he was doing all he could, but the killers were elusive. Fear is one thing. Helplessness is worse. And that's what people felt. Their protector was either incompetent, or something far more sinister. Whispers turned into secret meetings. Miners, merchants, ordinary citizens came together in barns and backrooms. They formed vigilante committees, because if the sheriff wasn't going to stop the killers, someone had to. The fall of the sheriff. By late 1863, the vigilantes were organized and ready. They started capturing suspected road agents. Some confessed under pressure. And what they confessed shocked the town. Henry Plummer, the sheriff, the man with the badge, was the mastermind of the gang. The innocents weren't just random criminals. They were a network, loyal to Plummer. And he had been orchestrating the murders all along. The vigilantes moved quickly. They couldn't risk letting him escape. In January 1864, they arrested Plummer and 2 of his deputies. Witnesses said Plummer begged for his life. He offered to leave Montana forever, to disappear if they would only spare him. He swore he was innocent. But no one believed him. The evidence, the confessions, the trail of blood, it was too much. On January 10, 1864, the vigilantes marched Henry Plummer to the gallows. Execution and legacy. At the edge of town, under a cold Montana sky, Henry Plummer faced the rope. He pleaded one last time, asking to be sent back east instead of hanged. But the crowd wasn't swayed. They looped the noose around his neck. In those final moments, people looked at him and saw the contradiction, the man who wore the badge of law, and the man accused of unleashing lawlessness. The rope tightened. The sheriff who was also a killer was gone. But the story didn't end there. For decades after, debate raged. Was Henry Plummer truly guilty, or was he the victim of paranoia and vigilante justice? Some historians argue he was framed. That the innocents existed, but Plummer wasn't their leader. That the vigilantes simply needed a scapegoat. Others say the evidence was clear, too many confessions, too many coincidences, too many dead miners. Whether guilty or not, his name became legend. The sheriff who led murderers. A reminder that sometimes the most dangerous villain is the one who looks like a hero. Henry Plummer's story is haunting because it feels timeless. It's not just about the Wild West. It's about power, trust, and betrayal. It's about how easy it is for a community to hand its soul to someone wearing a badge, and how devastating it is when that trust is broken. Some say he was a monster. Some say he was wrongly condemned. Either way, his story lives on, because it strikes at something deep, the fear that the person you trust the most, is the one you should fear the most. If you enjoyed this tale and want more stories of horror, betrayal, and hidden truths from history, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share this with someone who loves mysteries. I'll see you in the next video.